I'm Denise, and I'm the Green Business Coordinator for Sustainable Sandhills.
And we have one other person with us today, Alba, who is new to our team. And she's new to the area, so this is kind of a learning experience for all of us together today. I also wanted to start by asking everyone to say their names. Start going around? Yeah.
I'm Kia with Just Cactus.
Carla, FB Publications.
Nice to meet you, Carla.
Thank you.
DevonWhite.Gilo.co.
.gilo.co?
.Dilo.
Gilo.
Dilo.
What is Gilo?
Dilo.
With a D.
Sorry, Gilo.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I got a microphone.
Yeah.
Apologize. You're really in trouble. I'm sorry. Hi. Alana. How's it going? All right.
Hi, Mike Casey, Schooley Mitchell Telecom Consultants.
Will Simmons, Parks Interiors and Building Supply.
We like you guys.
Don Matheson Marketing Consulting.
Marketing consulting. That is something that we could use. Do you give free services?
We can barter something out.
Oh, we operate on a barter economy.
Air removal, protest carpet cleaning, we're green and clean.
We like that. That's great.
Ray Waters, instructor here at Fayetteville Tech.
Nice to meet you again, Walters.
Bill Griffin, Curriculum Division here at Fayetteville Tech.
And congratulations on your mug. We also brought our own mugs today. I have the Imagine mug. We have a Rubik's Cube over there, and
I brought my own
garden.
But it looks cool stuff.
The coffee's just as good, though.
Yes, the coffee's good.
Ernie Morgan, instructor here at Fayetteville Tech.
Hello. What do you instruct?
Economics and business law.
Aha. We always make the economic case for sustainability, so I hope that you will chime in if there's anything else to contribute or to help our points along.
Definitely the green elements of externalities are important.
Yes.
Externalities.
We're with you.
You lost me.
It's all right. I think we can come up with a clean and green, where clean meets green phraseology to describe it.
Cheryl Campbell, business instructor here at Fayetteville Tech.
Hello, Cheryl. It's good to see you again.
And their presentation was fantastic.
Oh, thank
Saw them
you.
last week at Rotary.
We did go to Rotary last week. We look forward to coming back to talk about our Clean Energy Summit, which is coming up in the next little bit.
Eve Eichenholz, rabbi at Beth Israel Congregation.
Rabbi, welcome.
Sharon Moore from Moorwood Studios and a whole list of other things nobody needs to hear about right now.
She says that, but I have to tell you that one of the things we'll be discussing today is our pop-up dinner series, and Sharon is the creative genius behind them. So we have lots of interesting parts about entrepreneurship and art and public art and sustainability and food culture and sense of place. There are intersections galore. So thank you, Sharon.
I'm Joe Levister here at Fayetteville Tech.
Ah, good to see you again, Joe. And
Sharman Hearing, Director of Business Services and Continuing Ed at Fayetteville Tech.
okay. I want you to know that even though you have stolen the only table, that we have tables on wheels. So if you want to come in here, we could actually move the table for you.
I'm trying to hold down the back corner here.
Okay. And Tamara?
Good morning, Tamara O'Brien with Fayetteville Tech. And I'm Cindy Burns. I'm the Dean of Business Programs here at College.
Cindy and I actually had a collab session at HealthPlex a couple of weeks ago talking about this very presentation and the presentation I did previously for 1 Million Cups on the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. So I will tell you that even though Sustainable Sandhills is not my baby in terms of being a startup, being the CEO or an executive director of a tiny environmental nonprofit has its similar challenges to starting and running a for-profit business. And actually last night I was at the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. It was our CEO roundtable. We had Sylvia Adamczak from the Capital Encore Academy, and we had Pearlie Stiggs from P3 Weddings, and myself, and we were talking about the intricacies of nonprofit and for-profit strategies and management for small businesses. It was a really interesting discussion. So anyway, but we invite people to participate with young entrepreneurs if you have a yen for shaping young minds in the field of startups. Hey, Rocky.
Hello.
You get to introduce yourself. We just went around the room.
Oh, my name is Rocky Harrigan. I own buildorBuyAR.com, where you can build or buy your next AR-15.
Thank you. Anything in the world from green ammunition?
We can talk about that after this, actually.
Okay.
I'm definitely up for it.
Fort Bragg DPW runs a number of their sustainability initiatives off of recycled brass casings. It's actually a very large reuse and a very profitable budget line item for them. So, I don't like talking to slides. It's not part of the presentation style that I learned from. So the presentation's going on in the background. The first time I presented here, if you look me up, you will not see me in the slide because I thought that needed to be in the picture. So I was kind of talking on the side. Still, I like it better. What can I tell you about Sustainable Sandhills? We're awesome. We are seriously the most amazing thing in the world. Very small thing in the world. Possibly the tiniest thing in the world, and yet still awesome. Sustainable Sandhills is an environmental nonprofit, started in 2003, based off of a collaborative partnership with Fort Bragg and NC Diener. NC Diener, for those of you not enmeshed in the world of acronyms that comprise our amazing environmental ecosystem, is the North Carolina Department of Environmental and Natural Resources. Oh my. So, we started off as a collaboration. Fort Bragg was under a consent judgment. They needed to protect the longleaf pine habitat and the red-cockaded woodpeckers. We call them RCWs. Usually that gets a laugh from whoever the Princess Bride fan is in the room, because they're taking rodents of unusual size. It's similar, but not at all related. Once we launched and started helping Fort Bragg with not only their sustainability, but the sustainability of their whole regional approach. We comprise an 8-county region, so it's not just Cumberland, it's also Montgomery, Scotland, Richmond, Moore, Hope, Harnett. We're actually also expanding Lee County, although we haven't done as much with them. We are also recently expanding into Sampson County and Robeson County, since they are coastal plain, not necessarily sandhills, but they are contiguous with us in terms of energy, resource development, and environmental threats. I don't know if you guys are aware of the interbasin water transfer request right now. Some people have been following it in the paper. Not only are we guardians of the longleaf pine ecosystem, we are also guardians of the Cape Fear River Basin, which is another fragile ecosystem. And I'm going to move on to the economics of this in a second here. Cape Fear is our sole drinking water source for Fayetteville. PWC is the utility that provides us with clean drinking water, produces our, treats and manages our wastewater, and sends it back downstream for other communities to use. They also provide Fort Bragg with their clean water supply after some slightly nasty incidents involving groundwater contamination. We don't need to go into that, but you will also see Semper Fi flash up here. That's about Camp Lejeune and their groundwater contamination. Seriously intense, very pressing case for making sure that our clean drinking water supplies stay clean and stay drinkable. So we rely on Jordan Lake. Part of our flood mitigation technique was creating a dam upstream in Lee County that created Jordan Lake. That is our drinking water source for all the downstream communities of the Cape Fear. Right now, Cary and Apex are putting in a request to use more water from that source. They did it in 2001. This is the second request. I'm not going to go into the details really right now, but I'm happy to enlighten you more about kind of the environmental aspects along with the collaborative, everybody deserves drinking water approach that I think we all want to take in the region. But suffice to say, we have a lot of different factors that make up our ecosystem that are incredibly pressing from an economics perspective, which is to say we can't have industry if we don't have clean air. There are environmental regulations we need to abide by. Right now we have new ozone standards coming in. This is really dry, boring stuff, but it's important. When we're talking about new industry, when we're talking about existing industry, we need to understand how we share our resources and how we make sure that we have enough and good enough quality environment to continue and building a strong economy. I think I got lost in that point. What I'm trying to say is this. Clean drinking water is really important, and we're trying to protect that. We're also trying to make sure that we have enough drinking water and water for industrial use throughout the entire 8-county region, along with Sampson County and Robeson. We want to make sure that Bragg continues to grow, but does it in a sensible manner. So we don't get the kind of traffic jams and air pollution that we're seeing in Harnett County and Hope County and Cumberland Counties. Yes. We also want to make sure that we are embracing the other economic drivers that create a sustainable ecosystem. Things like sustainable agriculture. We have a really strong agricultural heritage here. Who here grew up on or near a farm? Bunch of urbanites. We got 1, 2.
What, really? Who comes from a farm, not a grocery store?
My food comes from my backyard.
Ooh.
There's always that one.
Throw down. We started the pop-up dinner series because we recognize that a lot of people here are transient. I'm not from here. Who else is not from here? Now that's the room. Okay. When people, we have 30% turnover every year of the population in this area, all right? That's a lot. And when people come here, what do they know about Fayetteville?
Fort Bragg.
They know Fort Bragg, right? When I ask people, what is Fayetteville's dessert? If I ask you, what's Fayetteville's dessert?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. That's a new one.
Could be.
What's Fayetteville's dessert?
Not a clue.
Joe?
I'd say the amazing soldiers and families that we have here.
Mm-hmm. That's our dessert?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What do you think?
I think our people, but I'm thinking on a larger scale, the same way he's thinking, that you know, once you get in Fayetteville and you get to know people, that is the best part.
Okay, I meant literally. What is the dessert that embodies it?
Come with cheesecake.
So, yeah, come back to the point here.
Banana pudding?
Okay,
Yeah.
that seems to be the consensus in terms of the majority opinion, all right? But is that unique to Fayetteville?
No.
Yes.
That's unique to the South.
That's a southern dessert, right? That's kind of, you could go to Atlanta and get southern pudding.
If you're thinking about
Sorry,
that,
yeah.
I say sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato pie.
There you go.
That's a better one.
Now you're just getting people hungry.
Yeah. I had breakfast.
Gotta go over those.
But that's, so that question, what creates the food culture here? We go from a strong agricultural tradition, one that wasn't necessarily food crops, to the idea of a sense of place. We have a lot of people that live here, that cycle through here, that come back to Fort Bragg, the Fayetteville area to retire. What kind of food culture, what are we building here as a sense of place? What creates a home here?
Chain restaurants.
Exactly. So we have a large perception that the restaurants in Fayetteville are chains. You know, that you can get the same food here that you can get anywhere in the world. In fact, the only food that you can get here is the food you can get anywhere in the world. So what we're doing with our pop-up dinners is we're
Local food.
local food. Exactly. We're also trying to connect chefs and farmers. We want a local food culture here. So I invite you all to our next pop-up dinner. We haven't planned it yet, but it's happening.
It's important to know that we have them because they sell out quickly. They're usually waiting list. So
They're also secret.
they're secret.
We tend to text you, email you, call you to let you know where it is, when it is. Pass some information around. We didn't bring all of this, but it's on our website. And that brings us to what we are doing here today, ostensibly, not the 45 minutes of talk that I could fill your ears with. We deal with environmental challenges. We deal with quality of life issues. We are striving to make this community better. And one of the things we started focusing on is the radical change that businesses could make in the community if they adopted sustainability practices. We started this in 2009. By 2013, we had 130 certified businesses. What we are hoping to do today is talk to you about why your business and the businesses that you know should be certified.
Wonderful said, I am the Green Business Coordinator.
She's awesome.
I gotta have your necklace.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Take the necklace.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll start singing in a minute.
I am the Green Business Coordinator for Sustainable Sandhills, and I'm going to go over very quickly what this Green Business Program is. It is a biannual certification after your first certification. Your first certification only lasts for a year. The certification includes a checklist where we go to your business. We go through a checklist that includes transportation, waste management, water management, pollution prevention in and around your business. Whether you are an industrial facility or you're a small office or a retail space, we have generated a checklist, a credential for each one of those business sectors. Right now, we are actually working with a motel to help them become Green Business certified, and even some apartment complexes in the area. Because of that, because we're able to do that, we have a couple of things that actually will help all businesses. First of all, money saving. We had an instance where we discovered there is a group, where they at? Wilkington, Scotland County, where we found out that we could save them a substantial amount of money every year by diverting their rooftop water runoff into their cooling facility rather than using fresh water.
They make large glass panels. They actually make panes for skyscrapers and also for larger solar panel models. And what they were doing was paying for a reservoir of fresh water that they, paid for their water utility, 1 million gallons on hand to use in emergencies to cool their glass. All right. So that was their emergency supply, was 1 million gallons they had to keep on site at all times, and then they were using, obviously, more than that, paid drinking water to cool glass in an industrial process. Meanwhile, they had a retention pond with well over 1 million gallons on site that was constantly refilling from rainwater. That didn't make any sense to us. Seems like, so when we sat down and crunched the numbers, because we problem solve. I'm sorry.
Hi. No, hi.
I'm like the worst boss ever.
Anyway, that is the next. She went into the next thing. We problem solve for businesses. Your business is what your business is. Our business is green business. So while you may be an economics expert or a carpet cleaning expert, by the way, I need your help. Our business is to help you green your business. So whenever you're trying to figure out what is the best chemical or what is the best process for recycling, and all you're seeing is something very complicated outside of your wheelhouse, give us a call. We'll help you. We already have those resources generated. But we also connect other green businesses to one another. The Fayetteville Airport, they needed help with transportation. They wanted to encourage people to bike to work. Well, in order for someone to want to bike to work, they have to have a place to park their bike. So what we recommended is that they contact the Arts Council. The Arts Council, what they did with the Arts Council is that they helped with a grant to make a bike rack that is an artistic piece. So not only is it pretty, it encourages people to bike to work. So we would do something similar for your business. Whenever someone is, for example, let's see what else we got. What's another good example? Top of your head, go. Come on, you're all talking.
Okay, all right. One of the main things that we hear from commercial businesses, both small and large scale, we're working at the Crown Coliseum right now, they want to create a recycling program. Right now in Fayetteville, and in Cumberland County, as a business, you are not mandated to have recycling, all right? And in fact, it costs extra most of the time to have recycling. In fact, your commercial hauler might not even let you have recycling unless you add an entirely different dumpster, which is ridiculous. Most of the time, a small business office, let's say your primary function is not pushing paper, let's say you're a dentist's office, all right? You might just need a cart, small scale. So we have 2 businesses downtown that want to implement recycling, neither of which have a space or a budget for a dumpster. So what we're trying to do now is work with their hauler to see if we can combine both contracts to do one recycling contract for both businesses. They're located in a distance that if they both had a cart, or even if they only had one cart, they could easily co-stash their trash, co-stash their recycling in one location for pickup. And that would cost both of them a reasonable amount of money. Not another dumpster, but something smaller. For the Crown Coliseum, they're a business, it's like many are defense contractors, all right? Their funding and their utilities are a mixture of different service agencies. So they get a pickup from the county. County does do recycling. But right now, they don't have the facility set up to make that easy for the county to provide. All right, we're talking about Department of Solid Waste Management. So we're going to work with them to figure out how to separate their processes so this becomes an easy system and cost effective. Speaking of the third party certifier.
Oh, yes, third-party certification. If you have, many of the times whenever you try to become a contractor with the U.S. federal government, you get extra points on your to get that contract bid if you are environmentally certified by a third party. We are that. We do that for All American Relocation. A lot of what they do, they move a lot of stuff for the U.S. federal government. They depend on us for that certification. So if you are thinking about, or you already are in contract, that may help you retain it further. Do I have any questions from the audience? Yes?
Is there a cost associated?
There is a cost associated with it. It starts, if you are a chamber member, it starts at $200, and depending on the number of employees, it goes all the way up to $1,500. If you are a chamber member, did I say that right?
Up to $1,200 if you're a chamber member, up to starting at $250
if you're not a chamber member. So we use that to keep the program going and to build those resources. Yes.
In addition to the cost savings of your plans and helping with those efficiencies, do you also help to connect to other monetary incentives to help offset the cost for the business? That savings is great, but that's in the future, and presumably there's initial investment to some of these plans.
There is an initial investment, but there is a return on that investment.
So we have recently started a Green Church program. And one of the things we are doing is we are looking for grants so that we can start enrolling churches and religious institutions that might not be able to pay for this kind of service. I mean, look, $250 is not exactly just lying around, right? I know nobody who has a budget who's just got like a little slush fund. But when you look at your utilities and you look at your waste and you look at the other services that you could be providing your clients, for instance, Thompson & Little, we are certifying them. They are a restaurant supply provider. We have another program, all the programs in the world, called Biodiesel for Schools. We just started this up. This is a service that Thompson & Little can provide to their clients who buy deep fryers. Because if you're buying a deep fryer, you're frying something. When you're frying something, you have used cooking oil. And if you sign up with Biodiesel for Schools to get rid of your used cooking oil, they pay you. And
It smells better than diesel.
it smells better than diesel. Basically, also, this goes to a North Carolina company that is producing biofuels, and 25 cents of every gallon that they collect goes to our Green Schools program. It goes back to teaching kids about STEM education and helping our schools reduce their waste and their energy usage. We look for ways to offset. Right now, so should we jump into clean energy, talking about offsets and benefits? No? No.
You're right.
All right. You're right. Some businesses want to go really into sustainability. They want to generate their own energy. They want to become net energy providers. There are tax incentives right now in North Carolina and federally. We will help with that. We can help with that. We are also putting on a
Clean Energy Summit, March 14th at New Century Elementary School. Y'all probably saw it flash up there. That is actually my little baby. So I will, but One of the things we're going to be hosting in that Clean Energy Summit, aside from having planners and utilities there that you can talk to as a business owner, we are also putting together a Solarize Sandhills. And what Solarize Sandhills is going to be doing is we are going to be putting together a bulk buying model. So if you are a business or a homeowner, or you're both, and you're like, I really, really want to get on this, but I don't have 30 grand. We are pooling all of our resources so that we can bring that price down. We're going to have one contractor, one source for solar panels, and we are also working with an accountant so that we can say, hey, this is the account that you need to talk to. They're very well versed in it. Yes, ma'am.
Since you brought up homes, do you do the sustainability for homes or home-based businesses?
We don't do weatherization. For that, we can recommend CCAP or other weatherized installers, but we don't do the weatherization ourselves.
I think the question was if she has a home-based business, would you certify her as a green business if she met all the criteria?
Yes.
Absolutely.
In the same way that we would do for a farm. So we won't certify a product, like we won't be able to say that you're, for instance, so a home-based business, again, we wouldn't be able to weatherize your home, but we would be able to we'd be able to certify your business processes. If you had a small farm or Christmas tree farm, we would be able to demonstrate how your business model can gain efficiencies and how your infrastructure can be made better, energy conservative and waste reducing. But again, like you wouldn't be able to certify, organic or things like that.
Yes, that's.
Yes, sir.
Last summer, wife and I took a trip up north, and we went through Ohio, miles and miles of wind turbines.
Mm-hmm.
Pro or con wind turbines?
Well, I'm always for clean energy. But here in our particular area, we do not have, for it to be a long-term, large-scale thing, there are doing some studies here in the Sandhills for it, but right now it's not economically feasible. Now there is some evidence that home wind generation is economically feasible, and that is something that we are going to have a panelist discuss about how you can run your workshop lights, or you have a small garage that you want to run a little more cleaner. But as far as putting your entire house on a wind turbine, that has not been shown to be very
I'm talking about the huge ones we saw. I mean, miles and miles. We don't have the wind that we need for this area? Or?
This area has been mapped. I haven't seen those maps. I'm not sure about that. I would bet that we are a better energy generator in terms of solar than we are with wind. If I was going to speculate, I would say that the Piedmont would be better for wind or further towards Asheville. The other thing is that wind turbine technology has evolved significantly in the past 10 years. You'll see the urban wind turbines that look like DNA chains, they're vertical axis. There's now ones that actually they're called like Archimedes screw design. They actually cycle in like this, reducing wind, reducing any sort of barriers, and they also pivot, so they are able to capture wind in a variety of different directions.
Dubai, they're talking about hotels that will have floors, between the floors will have the wind generated.
In terms of cogeneration for on-site production of electricity that's going to be used on that site to power ongoing processes, it's incredibly efficient.
I believe there's a lot of potential on the North Carolina coast for wind turbines, and there's research going into that. There's just certain commercial boat channels that they're looking into not disturbing, and I think that the coast has a lot of potential.
Well, having seen them overseas, I was amazed. You just went by, and one year we came by in the same area, I always take the same route, went from nothing to literally hundreds of them out in the
And
field.
also, the grid technology is a little bit different here in the United States. Some of the other countries actually run on DC power, whereas we don't.
Yeah.
So we actually have to convert, wind energy is DC, so it has to actually be converted to our grid. So there's a little bit of challenge there in connection. That's one reason why out west in parts of Texas, places like that, it went in perfectly fine because they actually part of their grid is DC.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there is some conversion back to that here in the United States. It's not talked about widely because it would change the way that we do things and our billing and things like that. But there is some incorporation in possibly switching our grid back because DC is actually more efficient overall. So.
You just can't push it very far.
No.
It's not a well-distributed power source
Yeah.
because of battery technology right now, unfortunately.
But we'll
This is the kind of thing, though, that we love to talk about and
Yeah.
research, and we will dig into for hours and years at a time.
Yes.
If there is a financial barrier to your business becoming a green certified business, we will work with you. We have taken trade and barter. Not always great for our bottom line, but at the same time, we are a tiny organization, so sometimes we need other skill sets or other things. Right now, we're also looking for technology, just FYI. But what we really like to do is work out a way so that your business in the first year is saving that amount of money or avoiding paying for it elsewhere in your budget, which generally amounts to the same thing. We have helped on waste reduction, we have helped on energy reduction, we have helped on, and I'm not just talking about CFLs.
No.
We're
No.
going everything from end use to stormwater. We've talked about landscaping, we've talked about, and we've seen companies with real gains. We also want to network your business with other green businesses. Clean carpets, fabulous. Maybe there's a carpet recycler that we can connect you to. You know, do you? How do we get your product to you in one piece? You know, how do we help you reduce your waste through the entire life cycle of what you produce? How does your technology run off of, renewable sources? How do your generators or how do your servers stay powered and make sure that the emissions are reduced in our area? We work through it all, so we want to work with you.
One thing I do want to point out real quick is it's not just an in and out certification. Once you're certified with us, we are a phone call away from that point forward for that 2-year period. You call us up, hey, I was looking over, we talked about XYZ and I didn't do it the last time, but I really want to move forward with this project. You got a solution for me. Or, hey, I've recouped a lot of savings and now I can invest in this next point on the checklist. I really want to move forward. And hopefully that, I just wanted to make sure that you guys had understood that it's not just one seal of approval and then we see you in 2 years and ask to recertify. Yes, sir.
Go ahead. You go right ahead.
Because you mentioned recertification.
Yeah.
Are the expectations of recertification continual improvement, or is it you've reached this benchmark and can be recertified at that level?
At this juncture, once you're at recertification, you're there. You're at that benchmark. Would we like to evolve it? I have proposed an evolution of the program to do something like a platinum certification or gold certification. That way, you met the minimum to get certified, but you've been in this program for 4 years. Let's make a leap. We are working on that evolution as we speak right now. We're just trying to get it back.
So part of what we offer is flooring, and anything we take up from a home, we recycle if it's possible. I've got a guy that he doesn't charge us anything. He just comes and gets it and he sells it. He does a great job, carpet and the paving. And that was an initiative that I wanted when we started. All it took was him building a little box, a separate facility for us to put our waste in, and he'll come and test it and haul it off. And how can I get, like most carpets now are 45%, they're made out of 45 to 50% recycled product, if they're PET fibers. On commercial, they carry leak points, same yarn, but on single family residential, there's no real benefit for a builder to use a sustainable carpet, not that I can find. Is that something y'all can help us find, or is there tax breaks for them, or is there something I can put in place or help put in place that will be a financial benefit for a builder if he'll use a sustainable product?
Legislation.
Carpet and paving.
We can definitely look into it. It's a difficult thing. My experience with USGBC and the regulations, still people are very concerned about kind of the home as a castle kind of thing, that there's not that many regulations going into existing buildings in terms of what you, for private residential. But we can definitely look into it and we can see. I am not as familiar in in terms of if there are North Carolina incentives versus federal. We would just have to take a look. But I don't know off the top of my head.
Commercially, there are benefits because they can get breaks on their,
Right.
you know, their federally funded projects, especially for break. And if they get enough lead points, they get breaks financially. But a single-family residential builder
Now-
who is dealing with the VA as the appraiser is not
One,
getting the same
one
break.
quick question about single-family builders, now, keep in mind, I'm not thinking generally of the Fayetteville demographic whenever I make this point. Generally speaking, there is the millennial generation who are having kids. That low VOC paint, low VOC carpeting and things like that, that matters.
Right.
That matters to us as a shopper. And if a builder can say, hey, I carpet costs more, but this is what we've put in it as standard grade, that is their benefit. They're more likely to sell that home. It does come up. It sounds silly, but I hang out with a crowd of people who are in the under 35 generation. They will rip carpet out of a home if they think it's harmful to their children and their pets and to themselves.
So it might not be on the tax incentive side, but it might be on the sales price side.
Yeah.
And we might be able to work with somebody to market it such. But we can figure out how exactly that would be. That actually goes back to something that I wanted to mention also about the green religious institutions. Our checklist system is not just, you know, your purchasing decisions, your landscaping decisions. It also involves mission. Behavior change is a fundamental component of what we do as part of our green certification. And we did a presentation to the Fayetteville Regional Airport staff. They're already in tune with what they do in terms of green, in terms of clean technology and cleaning products and security and what their retrofits are going to look like and their renovations are going to look like. But talking about behavior change is always it's a wake-up call when you see the things that you could be doing just that much better. So we work with the mission and purpose of your organization to make sure that this fits that.
I've had the pleasure of taking advantage of your electronic collection days. You still do those?
Yes, we still do those. May and November. Our e-waste drives. This can be a boon to businesses. How many of you have laptops, printers, vacuum cleaners, anything with a cord stacks up in your garage, put in the car, or on your bike if you feel the ability to do so, and just motor them somehow down to, we pick up at the county parking lot. And that happens twice a year, for free, drop them off.
If our business is located on a large plot of land, we have 60 acres and it's a tree farm, although we haven't done anything with it. So I suspect there's an opportunity there. Is that also included in your evaluation/certification process?
We don't charge more for larger land lots. If your business is a small business, even if it's on a large piece of land, the price is the same. Other questions?
Take the last question. What can this community do for Sandhills, Sustainable Sandhills?
Well, you can become a member. Sustainable Sandhills, we also offer a membership organization where we keep you in the loop with everything that we are doing. We are having a membership event on the 19th down at Marquee Market. Covington Vodka has allowed us to use their locally their North Carolina vodka to make honeybee cocktails. We will also go over what Sustainable Sandhills is. It will also be in time to meet the rest of the staff and everything that they do. Because green business is only a small portion of what Sustainable Sandhills does, obviously. We went over that.
I mean, you see the PowerPoint. It's
Yeah.
been on for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like-
So, but we do offer membership. It's a good way to stay connected with us throughout the year, and it's also a good way to get a lead on those pop-up dinners too.
Do you partner with any other organizations for
Yes.
things like the pop-up dinners or other programs?
We partner with a tremendous number of organizations. We have a very diverse mission. I don't know if you got that from the things that I was babbling about and the giant PowerPoint slide behind me. Our partner partnership extends to Sandhills Farm to Table. We do more on local food. We actually will be hosting 3 gathering sites where you can pick up CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, Farm Box this year. Fayetteville is one of them. The Transportation Museum Annex is another downtown. And our third is, why am I blanking on the third? Oh God. We have one more.
Hold on, it's gonna pop right up.
It'll probably be there. We partner with a number of other organizations, both conservation and, you put me on the spot. Who are you thinking of? With Slow Food?
Slow Food.
Slow Food. Slow Food, yes. Slow Food is our partner organization. You guys familiar with Slow Food? No? Actually, this is really interesting. We have one of the oldest slow food chapters in the United States here in Fayetteville. Slow food is an international movement of people who believe in a local food economy, who don't want to eat at McDonald's or don't want to eat there all the time, who really believe that farmers and local food culture define a region and create a community. And we had some folks who went to the first, it was based in Italy, started in the 1980s. They went to the first national convivium that was held in the late 1990s and started the chapter here. So we actually have a very signature local food movement. So we partnered with Slow Food to start the pop-up dinners to keep that going. And it's also part of our commitment to the local foods movement. Thank you very much. Yes, we're gonna draw, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because you don't just have the opportunity to be part of the 1 Million Cups Club. We have our own cups. Oh yes, right here. And we got 2 of them for you today.
So,
business
cards. The first one is out of the business card. So if you did submit a business card, that'll be an opportunity.
Who has more business cards? Anyone want to drop business cards now before we do the drawing?
All right, I'm drawing. I'm not looking. Morwood Studios. She already has one because she's been to an event.
2.
Oh, you come on up here. You get to be the camera presentation.
Speech.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm very happy to accept my sustainable Sandhills coffee mug. Thank you.
Well, we hope to partner with you and Just Cactus in the future. And we look forward to having you join us hopefully on February 19th.
Now I have a super high-tech way of doing this drawing. I'm going to fold the paper in half and then I'm going to point to one right there. I can't use that one because that's the Sandhills. You're here first.
I got them.
Who is this? Sammy? Simons? Will Simons?
Wilson.
Will Simmons.
Hey, brothers, come on up here. Hello.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for considering the environment in building decisions and recycling.
Absolutely.
Get a high five on that one.
Thank you. Right.
Please do consider membership and do come and join us on February 19th. It is a free event, honeybee cocktails. We're going to show vanishing the bees, and there's going to be some beekeepers to talk to. All sorts of excitement.
Flyers are over the back table.
No, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Please feel free to grab another cup of coffee. We hate throwing it out.
Yeah, please grab something to go. Thank you for coming. Please bring a friend, tell an entrepreneur so they can come and share their story as well. And an early happy Valentine's Day and share some love.
Our little division, we're social operators.
Thank you.
Allows more collaboration amongst.
I'm not stepping in that much.
This is an innovative operating system.
I think it would be a good idea.
So you can easily, it has built-in apps as well that easily built-in payment processes in the app. Like built-in e-wallet, you can manage your payments. You can pay at the store. Built-in TV, so you can easily hook up your television with the operating system and watch TV or movies on demand as well. And movies that are actually.
What about documents? Like when you track documents?
Yes, work processing. Yes, there's a web version as well, a web operating system, so you can easily access all those files through the web as well, as it is on your desktop and stuff like that.
Excellent.
I've always, I've sold AR-15.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about that.
I've finally been able to. So, yeah.
Customized by AR-15. Not illegal.
So I was thinking we were going to get one to
It's all
I've got a friend that will customize it.
yeah, otherwise.
My neighbor.
Everyone in my generation said, watch me pull a rabbit out of my head. You go river rock and roll.
I do like to know every time you
Yes.
meet somebody.
Yes. In fact, the girls have a big old what did I think of my life? Watch me pull a rabbit out of my head. Because you look at it, they, Rocky, remember, they boards back on.